Well, since I made this video, I've made about 200 new friends thanks to Olive shouting me out in her booktuber shoutouts video, which I really did not expect. And I woke up one morning to a lot of emails telling me I had new subscribers. Kind of freaked out a little bit because I've been a pretty small channel for a long time, and I kind of like the fact that I'm just like kind of hidden and only a few people watch me. I feel a little bit more anxiety knowing that some more people are going to be watching me, but I am really happy that you are here and that I have more people to discuss books with and find recommendations from. This all happened like right when I was leaving to go visit my mom for a week, so I've been kind of gone from booktube for like a week and I feel like I've missed a lot. I have like 3 videos pre-recorded that I didn't get a chance to upload because my mom doesn't have Wi-Fi where she lives. I'm just kind of really behind. So this video is a wrap-up that I filmed probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, but I did want to put it up for you guys to see. So thanks to all my new friends and subscribers. I'm excited to get to talk to you in the comments, and I've tried really hard to go on all your channels and subscribe if you are a booktuber that's current. I'm happy you are here, and thanks again, Olive, for being so kind, so nice. So here's the video without further ado.
Hey everyone, it's Vanessa. I wanted to do my next reading wrap-up. I read 4 things, so I think it's time to talk about them. The first thing that I'll talk about is an audiobook that I listened to, and that is The Soul of an Octopus by Cy Montgomery. This is a memoir in which Cy Montgomery focuses on octopuses, learning more about these octopuses, how they might think and feel. I think this worked perfectly as an audiobook because Cy Montgomery does the actual reading of the book, and you can just tell her deep enthusiasm for this subject. Cy Montgomery really immerses herself into this topic, and she really gets to know the personality of all of these octopuses. I did not know a lot of the things that she mentioned in this book. I learned about their short lifespans, which I had no idea about. I learned about their mating process, which is really interesting. I learned about the serious intelligence that these animals have. Seeing the playfulness of these octopuses I thought was also really fun. In general, they just seem like really interesting animals that I hadn't thought about that way before. This book is also really about the people that Cy Montgomery meets while she's doing this entire experience. So the people that work at the aquarium, as well as other people she meets throughout the time that she is there. She tells you stories about their personal lives, and I thought that that was very thoughtful. Overall, I thought this was a really charming book. I'd recommend it if you're looking for an audiobook that's kind of an easy, light read. It will definitely broaden your octopus and animal knowledge, but I thought what this book did best was the way Cy Montgomery brought this subject to us in such a funny and emotive way. The next book that I want to talk about is Girls and Sex by Peggy Orenstein, and this book looks at how high school girls and college-age girls look at sex and think about sex today. This not only goes into the actual sex act, it looks into sexuality, it looks at sex and sexuality's place in our culture, and it asks questions like what really constitutes as sex today? Are casual hookups common? What is it like facing rape culture on college campuses? And looking more into the sex education that teenagers get today and how that's really a disservice to them. I'll first talk about some of the things that I really enjoyed about this, because there were some problems that I had with it. First of all, it was really easy to read. It was a fast-paced read, especially considering the topics that we are talking about here. Another thing that I really enjoyed was the interviews that she included in here. She actually interviewed real girls, and I thought that she did try to get diverse voices here. She didn't do a perfect job at that, but I think that she tried. We get experiences from survivors of rape, and we also look at a wide array of ages. So somebody that's 14 has a very different idea of all of this as somebody who's like 23. I thought she had some great takedowns of some of the things that don't really work, and I thought she also had some really great conversations about topics that we don't really talk about in our culture. She focused on like the contradictory nature of being a high school girl or a college age girl, where it's kind of like today we don't need to show off our bodies to get our point across and to, you know, have our thoughts be heard. But at the same time, we still do need to show off our bodies in a way to get noticed and to be liked by others. Self-objectification is a messy topic. It's a self-empowerment thing as well, so I still don't know where I fall on it. I'll move on now to what I didn't like, and there were quite a few things here that I did not like. I did not like all the personal comments that Peggy Orenstein put in here. There were lots of examples, and they made me roll my eyes quite a bit. Stuff from Robert Pattinson saying he doesn't like vaginas, and then her saying, "Sign me up for Team Jacob." I didn't really like any of those comments. It distracted me from like the main points that she was trying to make here. She has lots of stuff to say about Miley Cyrus and her twerking. She has lots of stuff to say about the Kardashians, and I'm just like, this is so dated for something that was published in 2016, for you to be mentioning something that happened like 3 years prior as like a motivating factor for this paragraph you're writing. I didn't feel like it was necessary to include all those pop culture references on here. I also think she did a sort of messy job at putting in stuff that scientists and other feminist writers were saying, so kind of she would have a story from a girl and then she'd be like, oh, this coincides with what Jessica Valenti said on this topic, and then she would just like insert a quote in there from Jessica Valenti, which made it feel like she didn't really do that much research. It's mostly like she interviewed 70 girls and then she's including things from other people. A lot of the quotes that she would insert were things that I already knew about, so again, maybe I'm just not the audience for this book. Maybe it's intended for someone who doesn't know very much about the topic. Her bibliography, this is something that a lot of people on Goodreads said as well. She didn't put actual footnotes throughout the text. She just has notes at the end, and she marks like the page number of where she got that from. But you're not really going to be like reading here and then being like, hold on, let me go to the back to page 172 to find what she's talking about here, then going back. Like, it's not going to work out. So that kind of makes me think, like, why did she do that? Maybe her thoughts are not really supported as well by the stuff in the back if she did that. So I didn't like that either. I basically agreed with the majority of the things she said, but some of them I felt like she was pulling things to make fit specifically the argument that she was having right then and there. So overall, I don't know if I would necessarily like tell you go pick this up right now. If this interests you, go ahead and do it, but you should be wary that you might not be the audience that she is targeting here. I did enjoy learning about what girls actually thought. Overall, this was kind of meh. Like, it was kind of just okay, and I really expected a lot more from it, and I was kind of sad that it didn't live up to my expectations that I had after listening to her on lots of podcasts that I listen to. The next thing that I will talk about is Jonesy by lots of people, Humphries, Boyle, and Quinn. Jonesy is so great. When I made my TBR video, I said that I wasn't sure if I was gonna like this or not. I didn't know if it was gonna work for me, like the story, but it so worked for me, and I love this. This is probably the most fun thing I've read so far this year. This follows Josephine. She is a person that I think a lot of booktube would really enjoy reading about. She's kind of a jerk. She's kind of anti-emotions, and she has a secret power. She's basically Cupid and can make anybody fall in love with somebody else or anything else. So we follow her in her adventures, and she ends up making friends with someone you wouldn't really expect. That ends up being a really fun friendship to look into. We also see her and her father. Her father runs a donut shop, and that was really fun as well. Her interest in zines and boy bands made her be someone that I could really relate to, and I liked reading about. It was really cutely drawn. It was exactly what I was looking for at the time, and I've decided that Boombox is basically my favorite imprint for graphic novels. I would say don't come here for the magical powers that I mentioned. Come here because of the character development, come here because of the diverse characters, and come here if you are looking for overall silliness in a graphic novel. And the last thing that I will talk about is The Story of a New Name by Elena Ferrante. This is book 2 of the Neapolitan novels, and this continues the story of Lila and Lenu as they are getting into their 20s. The same as in My Brilliant Friend, what I loved most about this book was the writing and the characters of Lila and Lenu. And like the last one, this one was heartbreaking, but I think heartbreaking in different ways. The first one was more about being children and growing up in poverty, while this one is more about understanding your place in the world as a woman, and as a woman in that town and in that culture in that time period. There is a serious amount of violence against women and domestic abuse that is in this novel. It's tough to read sometimes. I think Ferrante weaves it into the story well, and it definitely feels very true to a lot of women's experience. I am definitely massively invested in these two girls. I think Ferrante just does such a good job at like truly analyzing these characters and going deep into their brains to like the most basic thoughts that we all have in our heads that are not good at all ever. And that's probably why it took me so long to finish this, because it is a slow, hard read where not a lot of happy things are happening. But I still love these characters so much. I'm going to continue reading this story and hoping that some point along this 4-book path I could find some happiness for these girls and hopefully better days for their friendship. My poor darling girls, Lila and Lenu. So that's what I thought about these 4 books. Thanks very much for watching my video. If you've read any of these, let me know, or if you're interested in reading some of these in the future, let me know too. Maybe I can encourage you and let you know if it's right for you. Thanks so much for watching my video. I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye.